The most terrifying nightmare I ever had. Well, to understand it, you have to understand the context of when I had it. Because, you see, there was a certain time when I was extremely religious, and God was everything to me. Regardless of what people's view of God is now, I'm just laying out the baseline of how it was then. It's much different now, but I will say that then God was everything to me, and I felt that um, even in my dreams, God was supposed to have revenants. Well, in this dream, things went horribly wrong for me. It still has the most emotional feeling to it, even though, quite frankly, if we talk about the actual imagery, it's nothing compared to your dream. Yes, yours makes much better of a scary movie than mine. If we were to turn our dreams into scary movies, which is what I'm judging this by. Uh, what happened was, I was in a city, which was big for me because at the time I had not seen very many cities except through television. So most of it was basically as if the way that the suburbs look on the cartoon Hey Arnold, as if it were actual, real city blocks. And everyone around me was turning demonic and sad. Well, at first I was just walking around, and then close family members of mine started. I was talking to them. They started expressing disbelief in God, and then they started turning into demons. And then I was walking around. I was running from these demons at the same time, trying to make sure that all of my family members were still uh, were not saying these horrible things. And one by one, my family members started saying horrible things about God and turning into demons. Until finally, my grandfather, who I considered the most devout person at the time, I found out much later that he was actually the worst of all people that I could ever have considered devout in my raising. He was. Oh, I won't talk about that. But, he was the last person, and he turned into the most hideous of them all. He became extremely slender with pointed claws and a jaw that hung down all the way. Relatively, it would be all the way down to here, with a face about my size. So his mouth could open all the way down to there, face about this size, with pointed, jagged teeth, each one the length of my fingers. So instantly, uh, as any as anyone who knows what you should do if everyone turns into demons, I started singing. Yes, everyone knows that's what you should do if you are surrounded by demons. You start singing songs. I specifically started singing gospel songs, in which case I started slowly rising up into the air, away from all of these demons, hopefully into some place safe. And indeed, I was in a I was taken to a stairway, which I assumed was the stairway to heaven. And I walked up the stairway and into a room. Brilliant Roman design, and who turns around? Not God, but Caesar. And I was extremely outraged by this. I was saying, "You're not God, you're a tyrant. You can't be God. God can't be like this." And then I killed him. with a punch to the face. Seems to be a theme in my dreams that when I kill someone, it's through unarmed combat. I'll have to, seeing as, seeing as, uh, a close, dear friend of mine is a psychology major, I will have to get her to psychoanalyze that. But in any case, heaven started breaking down, and I saw that that was indeed God that I had killed, and now the only hope left for anyone was hell, which was, as a devout Christian at the time, extremely terrifying of a dream. I didn't go back to sleep that night. I just stayed up until time to go to school, where I was extremely exhausted. So, my dream couldn't have been as scary as yours, but at the time, it was the most awful thing that I could have possibly dreamed. But now it seems almost prophetic, the way that my beliefs have turned out. But that's a different story. That's a different story entirely, but, you know, I don't know. Whatever. And that shall be the end of this. A video that tells you too much that Mab the Wicked was once the one that thought she would never be wicked. Never. Not me. I would never